Welcome to Wellness is a Way of Life, the podcast for female leaders seeking sustainable energy, clarity, and confidence. I'm Megan Swan, your guide on a journey to mastering wellness as an integrated part of your life. Let's explore personalized wellness strategies that truly resonate with who you are. Welcome back to Wellness as a Way of Life. Today, I'm so excited for this conversation with Mo Carrier. She is the co-founder of an incredible company called MyBliss, which MyBliss is dedicated to improving the sexual wellness industry for women. We're going to get all into the ways that it is doing that. Mo was also a participant in the FemTech Lab Spring 2024 cohort. She's currently raising capital. So if after this you're inspired, do reach out. We'll give you all the ways. Just a little bit more background. MyBliss was born from a simple yet powerful realization: the condom industry needs to evolve to address women's unique needs. Founded by Mo Carrier and her fiance, Joel Burkhead, they recognize that women have long been forced to choose from garish male-focused products that simply don't resonate and don't serve. So we're going to get into all of that as well. Mo's journey began with her personal struggle against debilitating side effects of hormonal contraceptives, which I can totally relate. I've mentioned a few times on the podcast. We'll see how much further we get into that. We'll ask Mo to explain what she meant by debilitating side effects, because we all have unique experiences. And at the end of the day, despite being told that avoiding pregnancy outweighed her discomfort, Mo and Joel believed that contraception should be a shared experience. They made the bold decision to stop using hormonal methods altogether and re-entering the condom market. They were confronted with a completely outdated landscape filled with products that felt out of touch with female consumers. So they created a beautiful alternative, and we're going to get into it. So welcome, Mo. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. And so excited to have this conversation.
Yeah, so I would love to know more about your personal journey, specifically in entrepreneurship, because a lot of women, confront a problem that is a, small gap or massive gap or something that really needs resolving, but it wouldn't necessarily occur to them to start their own business to solve it. So can you give us a little bit of background of what were sort of the crumbs that were laid for you to come to create this incredible company?
Absolutely. So I can actually remember the exact moment I decided to do it. I basically realized that there was no brand really catering for women's needs when it comes to male condoms. And it was kind of like a wow moment where I was like, no one's doing this. Someone should do it. And I was quite young at the time. And I think obviously then I had the courage and the bliss of not knowing what was to come to kind of decide to do it. But I've always been someone who I'll have those ideas, but I'm not very good at doing. Like I'll have a moment of thinking I'm so great, I can do this, and then have a moment when I'm like, I cannot do this. Like, I just get filled with self-doubt. So usually my ideas don't go very far. But with this one, I made my partner Joel swear to me that he'd keep me going and make sure I do it and actually see it through. I even called my mom because I didn't think Joel would be enough. I was like, I also need my mom to do it. So I rang her and I was like, I love this idea. Like, I think I could do it. You've got to make me do it because I will just give up. I'll be on something else next week. So I have to do this one. And yeah, they kept me to my word. And I think as well, having a partner who's a doer and not a thinker is really useful. Like, I've spoken to a few founders who have the same thing, where either like their co-founder or their partner at home is the person that either kind of like that supports them in it or is just the one with the ideas. Like, I think it's really good to have that mix. Because yeah, he was the one who's like, right, we need to go on company house and all the kind of boring things that you don't think about and the things that are quite overwhelming when you think about starting a business. He was the one being like, this is actually how you can start a business. Also, I was the one who was very much like, I really want to help women in this way. I think it's really worrying that there's not this product available. So yeah, so it all kind of happened that day. And yeah, I'm just so grateful to my mum and Joel for forcing me to do it. And although it's so hard, it's so rewarding at the same time. And it's crazy when something that's just an idea that you had becomes something, and then when you get the validation of being reassured that you did do the right thing and you get the feedback that it's working and it was what was needed is just amazing. So if anyone listening is in a similar position where you have an idea, find someone who's a doer. If you need that, some people don't need that. I definitely need it. I'm not someone who could do it on my own. But yeah, find a doer and yeah, just try and build it, because yeah, it's possible. I don't think I can't believe I've managed. I actually thought it would be possible, but it is. And I think so many more women should do it. There's so many reasons why business is amazing for women.
Yeah, well, you're preaching to the choir on that one. But so I'd love to get more in a moment to kind of the traction that you've already have with the company, and also dive a little bit into navigating your, the love of your life, being your co-founder. I'm sure there's a few bits of info, advice you might have there. But first, I'd love for you to give us a little bit more of the, incredible, what is this product doing for women that regular condoms don't? Like, what is the gap in the market that you're filling?
Yeah, so one of the big issues I had from hormonal contraception was basically that it really didn't work for me. And then when I changed to condoms, I again just saw red flags in that area where they were including ingredients that were known to cause infections, which is absolutely terrifying. And if I hadn't known to do the research and actually had to look kind of beyond the product itself, because they're not listed on the product, I wouldn't have known that. And I think so many women can say like they're worried they have a latex allergy or just having an issue where they feel irritated after sex. And it's actually a lot of these times because of the products they're using, which again is so worrying. And I think it really comes from the fact that the condoms themselves were conceived in like the inception of condoms was in like the 17th century, and they were very much made for men. They were only used by men, and they were used usually mainly by men who were kind of like using sex workers and the kind of fear of syphilis. So I think even to this day, this taboo and very male-centric view of condoms has continued. When you look at packaging, it's not really seen as an essential product. It is the packaging is very bold and kind of very kind of male centric. That was the first thing I was really worried about. And I think ingredients in the packaging was so focused on men's bodies. And I just thought, as an eternal use product, this is so worrying. And I think as well, as hormonal contraception doesn't work for all women, there should be something that women can use that isn't in that area and also is properly made for them and supports them, especially as it is an internal use product. So basically what we did was we made sure to only use ingredients that are 100% safe for vulva and vaginas. So we've actually tested our consumers, and 0% of them have had any kind of irritation or infection using our condoms, compared to 63% using other brands. So it has obviously made like a clear difference. As well, we basically wanted the style of the box themselves to again try and iterate that this product is an essential. I think the reason there's so much taboo is very seen as very kind of like a very sexualized, stigmatized product, when in fact it is a product that it has so many benefits beyond pregnancy and STIs. It also ensures that if you're not getting enough vaginal lubrication during sex, because you're not getting proper clitoral stimulation, which is a whole issue on its own, by using this product, you're ensuring that you're getting enough lubrication, so you're not going to experience irritation or infection. It also ensures that you are burying the penis microbiome from the vaginal microbiome, so you're not introducing external microbes into the vagina, which again leads to like growth of certain microbes, and it itself becomes like infections like BV, UTI infections, thrush infections, which are so awful for women. And I think we don't talk enough about how awful they are, especially UTIs. They're absolutely crippling. Like I've got like PTSD from the times I've had UTI infections. It's absolutely horrible. So I actually haven't, and I wish I'd known when I was having those infections that just using a condom would have protected me against that. Again, I don't think there's that education around for women to know that this product actually protects you from anything into your vagina, any kind of bacteria. So I'm just a bit obsessed with condoms at this point. But yeah, so we did that as well. We also put them in a little packaging that looks like a coffee pod, because we wanted to look more discreet. I think I'm trying to kind of solve two problems at the moment. The first one being that women are still kind of stigmatized from having sex, but that's a very long-term problem. But in the short term, I want women to be able to carry condoms and feel comfortable. So again, we wanted to make them a little bit more discreet, something that didn't look like a condom. I know a lot of brands say like, oh, we're like rebranding condoms, like changing them, but unless you change the packaging, they will always be universally known. So that was a big thing for us. We really wanted to change it. And throughout the packaging, it's very female orientated, and we have little messages to women throughout it. Like a little thing that we want to do as well is we called the brand MyBliss, because we're concerned about the orgasm gap, and we want to make sure that women just before sex are reminding themselves that this is about their pleasure, about their bliss. And obviously bliss comes in so many ways, like pleasure, but also protecting your vaginal health and just feeling healthy within yourself and well within yourself. So there's a few little things there, and a few little, I'll save a few of the messages for anyone who wants to buy them, because there's a few extra ones. So yeah, everything about it was just getting feedback from women and finding out what they want. So it actually took us 3 years to develop it. So there's like lots of different things that go into it, but it has been received so well. And it's been so great to know, like within 5 months of launching, we were made the best condom brand in cosmetology, men's health and glamour, which is obviously amazing. The feedback's been incredible. Like 100% of our customers said that our products are better than anything they've ever had. Obviously, that result of having 0% having any kind of irritation, again, huge for us. And it spiraled out to reach audiences I never imagined. So again, we have a lot of male customers, which I didn't think would happen, but when we surveyed them, they care about their partner's health, which is so encouraging, so wonderful that they would make that decision with that in mind. And also we have a lot of customers who are actually menopausal and over that, which again, I never really expected. But then I think you find out that this product is such an essential, because not only does it protect against infections, but it also acts as an extra lining. So obviously if you're perimenopausal and menopausal and your vaginal lining is thinning, it adds that extra protection, and also adds extra lube, so you're not having to worry about reapplying. So yeah, it's been a learning process for myself as well, just finding out that I wish this product was kind of more viably used more universally and people knew the benefits it had. So
Oh my goodness, so many things.
yeah, sorry, I go on a lot.
The orgasm gap. I think that's like my favorite phrase of that monologue. But yeah, I mean, I think you're doing like really important big work. You kept saying kind of this little thing, and there's just so much in this. Like, first of all, I wish in my 20s there had been a product like this, of course. And I love that men are buying this for their partners. And, I think a lot of times it's really easy to kind of lump onto, oh, it was designed by men for men. But most men, when you educate them that things are not serving the health of both them and their partner, it's not like they're really insistent on using the other product. They're just, women and men are just not given the information. And I love how we're, as the wellness industry in so many ways are giving women a lot more power and agency to be like, hey, didn't know that. So now, like, what are my options? And I love what you said about the STDs. This is a thing many clients I have are dealing with. So I've recently started researching it even more, that there's this risk factor. Like once you've had 5 or 6 UTIs, sorry, not UTIs, you're really in a higher risk category, first of all, to have them your whole life. And worse, even for having a kidney infection. So it's not like a minor thing. And I mean, particularly if you're just the quality of life of the discomfort of dealing with that. And yeah, I don't think, certainly women of my generation, were not questioning I mean, let's talk about the vaginal microbiome, because I'm sure most women not necessarily even aware, what does that mean? What is that? Like, what are other things maybe that help besides being aware of like everything that's interacting with your vaginal microbiome?
Yeah, so I've actually recently had such like a education on vaginal microbiome, and now I'm a bit obsessed with it. I think it's something that we're only really scraping the surface of as well in our kind of research. So basically, the vaginal microbiome is your makeup of your vagina and the microbes that live within it. So we have like we're different types of microbes, and there are different amounts of these microbes. And the reason they kind of sometimes lead to infections is an overgrowth of a certain type. Like it's an ecosystem that needs to be at a certain level, and it can't overgrow or undergrow. It has to be as it is naturally. So again, if you're introducing the penis microbiome, which has different levels, you are introducing microbes into that vagina and leading to overgrowth. So this won't happen every time, it won't happen for all women, but especially women who have a disrupted vaginal microbiome, which again, their levels may be off, there may be like bacteria in them. You are at more risk of, if you're having sex, that overgrowth getting worse and worse and worse, and obviously leading to things like thrush infections. So it's absolutely fascinating, and something that I find really interesting. Well, something I've experienced so much myself is the link between your gut microbiome and your vaginal microbiome, and how much that it affects it. So I wouldn't really suggest, like from the research I've done, I can't find any evidence that you really need to supplement your vaginal microbiome. It's such a powerful, I don't know if you could call it organ, but it's such a powerful thing that it cleans itself, it looks after itself. You don't really need to worry too much about it, except for using condoms to protect from microbiomes that are being introduced. But if you eat too much sugar, that can lead to thrush infections and irritation, which is something that it took me so long to realize that. I used to get recurrent UTI infections, and that actually led me to getting interstitial cystitis, which I was told wasn't curable. And it basically feels like you constantly have a UTI infection. It's horrible. And then I couldn't take "it's not curable, you have to live with this" as like the final word. I actually became vegan for a long time to kind of cure that, and it actually worked. Like I read somewhere really, really niche that being vegan can help get rid of those symptoms. And so I'm not vegan 100% now, but at the time I was for a long time to try and help with these symptoms. And it actually made my health, my general health, and my interstitial cystitis symptoms like completely go away. It was amazing. So I think we're only kind of starting to understand how important what you're eating actually affects not only your gut but your vaginal microbiome. So it's so interesting. There's so much research there, and every time I hear something, I'm very interested. Like for me, I personally, I try and reduce sugars, especially bread. Bread's the one that gets me a lot. It's like fizzy drinks, I don't go near them. It's Yeah, I think it's quite interesting to find out. I think it's very personal as well. I wouldn't want to say like what my vagina likes is what everyone else's vagina likes, but so far that's what I've kind of learned. I think it's very much learning yourself, and kind of, I think if you start attuning what you're eating to how your vagina feels, I think you start to realize that connection, and I think it's just so fascinating.
I love all this. Yeah, I mean, my experience in general, there's no one size fits all anything, particularly when it comes to health and wellness. So it's definitely a process of just tuning in and figuring out like what are your personal triggers or what really throws you off balance more than maybe somebody else. But yeah, likely culprits are for sure sugar, highly processed diet, alcohol. I think too much caffeine with no other hydration could be a factor. Fizzy drinks, that's an interesting one. And I think there's a lot of people don't know this. When you're reading ingredients on bubbly water, there's like a big range of the level of sodium and other things and minerals, or, quality of that type of water. And I think all other sort of basics of wellness kind of apply here too. It's more likely to happen. Any sort of infection is going to pop up if you're not well rested, if, you haven't been exercising and detoxifying your body in other ways. So I think it's very, very holistic. And I love that you're calling out, all the ways to sort of tune in and be more aware personally of what affects you. I know for me, I'm super sensitive to any sort of fragrance in toilet paper, or like any sort of heavy soap that's got a synthetic fragrance. So to me, it's really important to use all natural, unscented products. I'm sure that's not as important for other women, but I think in general, you want to be as non-toxic and holistic and unprocessed in what you're serving up to your system in all settings, right? In all areas. So yeah, tell us more about the traction and, like where you can already buy this product. You're based in the UK. So where are people, both men and women? And I love how there's like an age range. Totally makes sense to me, by the way, that there's a post-menopause market for this. I think that's like a whole other niche you could totally dive into. So yeah, where do people get it, and how can they get their hands on their own
So
MyBliss?
So we sell directly from our website, www.my-bliss.co.uk. We also sell through Superdrug, Debenhams, condoms.uk, Unfabled, and SheSpot. SheSpot and Unfabled are like women's wellness platforms. They're amazing, and I'm obsessed with them. So I would definitely suggest looking on there, because you'll find so many other products that can help you in other ways as well, especially ones that are female founded and really focus on supporting female health, which obviously is key for me. We currently, unfortunately, only sell in the UK. However, we are looking at expanding, because we're still only just, we just finished our first year, and yeah, it has been so wonderful so far. We are now looking, because of the response and how much people love the product, we are looking to expand. So we're looking at wider fit condoms. And interestingly, it's only men who require the wider fit, and I'm not always convinced they need it, because I've stretched one out in my on my arm and it fits. But you know, if you need that, that's fine. And also looking at a lubricant. So we've actually brought on a gynecologist for this one. I spoke to her, so she's called Dr. Rosie. She's absolutely amazing. We met a few times and she's decided to join the company. And what I love about Rosie is she was very, when we spoke, she was very concerned about how there's quite niche female conditions. And I say niche when it affects so many people, but in kind of like, you know, awareness of the different things that women go through.
Mm.
There are specific conditions, and these women don't know what products they can use. There's no information on like lubricants, condoms, saying like this is safe for vaginitis. Like there's just no information. So her key thing is actually having these products and making sure that they are safe, so we can actually put on them like safe for all these. So making so many more women feel seen. And she's
Mhm.
also wants one that's specific for menopausal women as well. But as well, she, one of her things is that she just want one that is kind of for everybody though. So hopefully we'll bring out the everybody one soon enough. But there's lots of development. Like we really care about making sure these products are safe, and obviously that takes so much time. As much as I'd love to be like, I'll bring all these out, I just want to make sure that they are 100% test and actually have, unlike I think so many other brands in this industry, I think there is a lack of testing. The certification condoms in the UK doesn't actually require any testing on the vaginal microbiome, which again is so worrying. And
I mean,
it's
not
what
surprising, but that's unfortunate. Wow.
exactly. And I think that just reiterates like that these products aren't made for women, and also why so many ingredients have been able to go in these condoms that have caused so many problems for women. So really worrying. So I think we really want to change that. So obviously for us, that's a lot of time and money spending testing the products, and hopefully we can raise the level of care in this industry and make it a standard. And also I think just by letting people know that there's not this testing, I think again is really important, because I do think with a lot of things, it's everyone, it goes to, I don't think how I can say it. You know, like how when we talk about like man, we talk about men and women. I think a
Mhm.
lot of times in a lot of things in our society, it is based on men and not women. And I think until you call it out, like you say, people don't see it. And I think that's so important in these kind of products as well, because the neutral is man, not women. And I think
Mhm.
that's what I'm really trying to change and kind of bring awareness of. I think that was one of the things, although it didn't seem that huge to bring out a female focused condom, the reason, there's so many reasons why I needed to and why bringing it out is important. So again, that's kind of what we want to make sure that we're bringing in the other products. And just by testing, again, we're trying to make this product for women, and not just I can't think what the word is. That I'm reading this book at the moment, it's amazing. It's talking about how a lot of our society is just based around men's needs, and there's a word they used, but I can't think what it was, but it was amazing. But I think that's what we're
The
really trying
Invisible
to,
Women, no?
it is, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So, I mean,
I
she
can't,
talked a lot about the gender data gap and just
yes,
how, I
exactly.
mean, the design of our societies for sure. And in great part, it's because in the medical sphere that they're just, it wasn't enforced, that it needed to be studied on women. And therefore, we don't, in a lot of cases, like you're saying, and we're just scratching the surface with understanding the vaginal microbiome because it just wasn't studied. It wasn't seen as a priority. There wasn't funding for it, whatever. And I think there's like a lot coming out right now. Like I feel like menopause is very trendy, for example, because, you know, 8 billion women are going to be going through menopause by the end of, I think it's 2030, which is like an insane statistic. And we need to understand these things better. More than half the population is dealing with, you know, a female body, female hormones, their microbiome, whatever. And I think you're touching on so many important issues with this one product and the sort of iterations that are going to come from it. So I love that you're coming out with lube too. I feel like I need to connect you with a company that's doing something similar in the US. Same thing. Like it's just like I guess as a young person, I wasn't using lube, but it's again not an area that I would think to read ingredients, like maybe now as a wellness coach, but when I was young, and you just assume that these products are made to be safe. You just assume it's available, that it's relatively safe, like maybe it's going to be slightly irritating if you picked the whatever cherry version versus the neutral or something like that. But you would assume there'd be this sort of this basis of ingredients that are not going to harm you. And it's just not the case. It's a little bit shocking kind of
Yeah,
process.
no, definitely. I think the one that really shocked me, and something I really have to educate a lot of people on as well, is a lot of products are like water-based, like lubes are water-based lube, condoms use water-based lube, and that sounds natural and safer, water-based lube. But
Mhm.
what a lot water-based lubes actually have glycerin in them. So obviously, again, if that's going through your body, that can lead to thrush infections in women. So it's such a red flag and such an issue. Whilst the lube we use in our condoms is silicone oil, which is hypoallergenic, so you're not going to have any issues with it, and no, none of our customers have. But it doesn't sound as kind of natural and safe as water-based lube, and yeah, it is a product that's much better for women. So there's a lot of education in the space as well, and I think it's just by talking about these issues, I think we are kind of educating people and bringing awareness to it, because again, like something like that is so, I have so many people reach out to me and say like, would you do one with water-based lube? And I'm like, I don't know if I don't want to, because
It's
it can
like,
cause
you know what you're
infections.
asking, right?
Yeah.
I love that you call that out because I think that is a super common assumption. You think water-based is always better. I'd
Mhm.
love to know, I love you said at the beginning, you have the passion and increasingly you have, more and more data and information that really supports how important this is. And you set up from the beginning this sort of social support network to ensure that you keep going and knowing that starting a business like this is a marathon. Entrepreneurship is a long game. So I'd love to know, like, what are some other things that have really helped you stick with it? Was it the traction? Did that really help? Were there other things that you have top of mind that keep you, on the train track?
Well, I think one of the biggest things is my wellness coach, Morgan, because she's amazing and has, look, I think when you have like personal problems alongside the business, and because the business is always so up and down, obviously when there's times when it's up, you're like, this is amazing, but when it's low, and then your personal life isn't where you want it to be either, I think it is just really hard. And as well with a business, you kind of end up comparing yourself to other people and thinking I should be there, but obviously you're doing something. Like someone said to me, it's like you want to pull back an arrow to, shoot it. And that's what it feels like with your life when you start a business. Like you feel like you're way behind everyone else. You don't have any money. So everything goes into the business. It is very lonely. No one really understands. I think you imagine that everybody's going to be like, oh my God, you're doing amazing. Everyone's always asking you about it. But I think people hardly ever ask me about my business. And I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes at first I really took that as an offense, but I think you learn that people don't understand it. So they don't really want to ask you about it because they don't really understand it. So that has been kind of like a life lesson. But yeah, having like a wellness coach has been so helpful and has helped me through just like a really hard time recently. And I think it's so helpful to have someone just help like reprioritize with you, and just it's so useful to just take that time to be like, okay, I've been trying for this for so long. Do I need to keep doing this? And I think having that support alongside running a business is so essential. I know speaking to Valentina, who is the founder of Day tampons, obviously huge, especially in the UK. She's absolutely amazing. And her advice for me was how important like having a therapist or a coach, I need just someone supporting you is. And I think that's been honestly transformational for me. And yeah, feeling so much better thanks to Megan. It's so helpful. So that's huge. I would honestly suggest, if you can work with Megan, please work with Megan. She's amazing. I would, like it's just so important to have someone keep you sane, because it's amazing, but I think you've got to learn that you get so many highs, that there are lows too, and you need help with those lows, I think.
Well, thank you. I wasn't cueing you to call me out, but I really appreciate
I
that. So
had to know. It's so true though.
I'd love to know, just before we wrap up, a little bit more about the dynamic of navigating your relationship with your co-founder. You have an incredible partner who's an incredible co-founder who's also very concerned about these issues for women. And, I think when you give men a chance and you educate them, most of them are really pro what's best for everybody. I'd love to know if there's, anything that you've learned about yourselves in creating a business together. And it sounds like it's always this nice balance of your strengths and your weaknesses.
Yeah, I'm just so lucky. Like it just made me thinking of like a higher power whenever I think about my relationship with Joel. It's just the thing I'm most grateful for in this life.
Mm.
Yeah, he's so helpful. Like what partner hears you go, oh, I would love to start a condom business that actually supports women and actually makes it happen. I'll start crying because I'm just so lucky and so grateful for that. But yeah, I think one thing I've learned is we're never going to get divorced. I think when you have a business, you are pushed to your extremes. And we started a business in lockdown and we lived in a flat. So all we did was talk about it. So it's definitely the biggest test you could have to your relationship. And I think when you come through it, you just learn such great communication skills of each other. I can honestly say, like right now, there's nothing in the background that we would bring up in another fight. Like there's nothing I'm angry at him about.
Mm.
Um, you're just, I think because everything moves so fast, you have to deal with an argument and get like really deal with it. And I think it works so well in being an entrepreneur as well, because who else are you that comfortable to call out? Like, I don't know if I did this with a friend, if they feel as comfortable saying, that's a terrible idea. Well, Shoal has to do that so often with me because although this business is a good idea, a lot of what I say is not a good idea. So yeah, it's a really good task. And I suggest if anyone wanted to do this with a partner, it's so for me, I think I couldn't have done it without him. And in his input is so amazing. I think I can just see like no wonder we have so many male customers as well, because I think they just kind of get Joel's energy in all of this. I think it comes through so well. Like so much of the messaging as well was from him, and he doesn't get any credit for that. He came up with our slogan, which is "My Choice, My Bliss," which again, we didn't want to push condoms on women. We wanted to say, if you're like me, you're struggling with hormonal contraception, maybe this is the right one for you. So that's why he came up with like "My Choice, My Bliss." It was also his idea for when you open our condom box, it says "Hello, beautiful" inside, and it was his idea to do that. It's yeah, and again, those sound very like something I would come up with, but I didn't. He honestly had gets all the credit. They were amazing, and though funnily enough, that's the things a lot of people tell me they love about the brand. And I think the fact that it's a partnership that I've come up with this, like it came out of our own frustration that only one person in that partnership was having the burden of contraception. So to kind of create something together that is made for kind of not just couples, but I think that's who I kind of originally had in mind, like people my age who are going through the same thing. And I think the response was wonderful. And like we even have customers who their delivery address is like Sam and Molly, and it's just so sweet to know like this. I think so many couples are owning that this is for both of them and not like a burden for just women, and that is so encouraging. Yeah, I'm so lucky to have him. And I just it's it's as well, it's so good for someone who loves you so much to see you grow as well. Like I'm absolutely terrified of public speaking, like beyond terrified. And when I recently had to do a pitch in front of hundreds of people, and when I came off the stage, Joel was saying that he was like tearing up watching me, and to have
Mm.
someone who comes along with you and and shares all your achievements and knows how hard, like beforehand I cried before and after, so like he sees all parts of that. And I think when you achieve something it means so much more. And so I know we don't have much time, but I'll say one thing is that I think it's I think as well it's really great when you have someone who's so prepared to push the woman to the forefront. Like with us, he's
Mhm.
always said he doesn't want any credit, he doesn't even want to be known about, to be honest. But he just wants to help me achieve and wants to help women with these issues. He saw me go through all my side effects and all the problems that so many women have had, and he wanted to help. And I think that is so refreshing as well, to have someone who wants to kind of progress, not just like progress women's rights, but also not take credit and push their partner to the forefront. And I think that's I'm just very, very lucky to have someone like that. But there are so many men like that. And I definitely feel like a change happening. I think men are listening more. Like Joel's reading that book that we were talking about. And every time he reads something, he's like, "Did you go through this?" And I was like, "Yeah." I've been through that, and it's just, yeah, I think, and I hear so many other female founders saying this thing, like, we always give each other book recommendations, and they'll be like, yeah, my partner read this, and I'm just so encouraged that I think there's definitely a movement of men who are proper allies to the cause and really wanting to help, and I think that is just wonderful. And the fact I have them with me is, I think, probably one of the biggest reasons that this is working, and like, I've been able to do this. So, yeah.
Oh, so much good in there. And ultimately, I think one of the most important measures of our quality of life is the quality of our relationships. So I love your guys' relationship. I love everything you're creating. I love the conversations, the games you're changing, and really bringing so many issues to the forefront. And we'll share in the show notes all the places. I'd love I'll ask you later for the places that you mentioned that are focused on female-founded companies. We'll get them up. And yeah, like if anybody really wants to support you, they can reach out. We need to bring this to North America.
I'm getting there. I really need to. I've had so many people ask me to do that, and I'm like, I'm trying. I'm trying.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time, your wisdom, and it's an absolute honor supporting you. I really believe in everything you're doing, and it's so important. And so grateful that you're doing it. So keep going.
Thank you, and thank you for like giving me this platform and giving me the chance. Honestly, it's so great. So thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to Wellness is a Way of Life. Are you ready to make wellness a natural part of your routine? Let's stay connected. Go to meganswanwellness.com. Until next time, live well and thrive. Listen up. We are going back to basics. As a fellow female entrepreneur, I know you are feeling the long hours, seated in front of a screen, constant deadlines, never-ending to-do list. You are exhausted. Usually means that you're just grabbing like whatever is convenient, whatever is in front of you. There's no plan, and it's this cycle that's keeping you feeling lackluster at best and ultimately feeling like you're not doing your best work. Maybe you're skipping meals and you're crashing later, or you're having like a massive portion in the evening when you do have time. All of these are a recipe for disaster in the long term. It's a cycle of exhaustion, brain fog, and lost productivity. It's holding you back from doing your best work with no energy to carry on your personal life. I've got you. Here's your personal invitation to join me for a brand new masterclass called Strategic Nutrition for Female Founders in Tech. Although, let's face it, we are all in tech at this point. You'll learn how to fuel your body and brain for peak performance. I'll show you how to create sustainable nutrition strategy that powers your personal focus, decision-making, and ability to take action in your business. You'll walk away with 3 key takeaways: a personalized, quick, and balanced meal plan, a strategy to combat sedentary lifestyle to enhance your digestion, circulation, and energy, a strategic macronutrient balancing for focus, to balance your intake of lean proteins, healthy fats, and whole food carbs to maintain sustained energy, support your cognitive function, and enhance your performance. Sign up to stay informed via the link in the show notes. I can't wait to see you there.